Excited to be launching this book here today here at RMPStudio, a publishing company that focuses on publishing extraordinary stories and talent. Hadassa is a visionary author. She crafts a world where words transcend mere syntax, initiating a journey of self-discovery and profound transformation. Her prose and poetry are more than mere writings. They act as a catalyst for personal evolution and empowerment. As a masterful storyteller, Hadassa delves deep into the human experience, revealing and interconnecting threads of emotion and wisdom. Her unique blend of eloquent prose and evocative poetry initiates readers into a world of introspection, awakening minds, igniting spirits. It is a great honor to have been able to publish such an extraordinary woman here at RMPStudio. So join me in celebrating Hadassa's great accomplishment today. So with you, Hadassa.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Adriana. Thank you.
Take it away.
Well, I just want to thank everyone who's here right now, and I'll keep an eye on the room to make sure that those that keep joining are admitted into the room. But a year ago, I would not have imagined that I would have a published book. And it all started with on LinkedIn and seeing a post. I think it was Denise Soler, Adriana, and then I saw that you followed up with a post on if you're an inspiring writer, join.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. So that was my first experience submitting one of my pieces. And then another year went by and I was co-authored again. And it was this past April that you and I were talking about that one last piece that I submitted. And you said, how many writings do you have in your blog? You could probably write a book. And that stayed with me. And the following month after that, I was let go from my company after 8.5 years. And it was something that I really never saw that coming, but it was another way of facing what I was going through and pursuing my writing, my dream for writing a book. And in the midst of juggling life, juggling everything, there was this part of me that kept saying, put everything together, write the book. Your entire world may be falling apart, but stay focused on what that vision is that you have, what that dream is. And it's been extremely challenging and extremely difficult, but I did it. And it's funny how there's messages coming our way all the time. I was watching this video the other day, and somebody said the word impossible. And then the other person said, no, impossible means I am possible. And I see that in my life. It's almost like there's a piece that I wrote, it's called Dying 1,000 Times. I have had to die 1,000 times to rise again. And this is just a testament to the incredible resilience of the human spirit, that even in the midst of despair or pain, there's also beauty in that, because that is part of being a human being. And you have to be able to embrace everything that you're experiencing. And the first thing is, don't judge yourself, because life happens and unexpected things can happen to anyone. No one is exempt. Yeah, that's Adriana, you're muted.
Thank you so much. So that's really deep, what you're saying. And I also acknowledge that as those of you who have written books, that your books are usually very therapeutic and very healing for many people. And that's why I always encourage it. So I can hear it in your words. I do want to invite everybody who was invited today, who's here on the call, to share a little bit about how you met Hadassa and what your interaction has been. And if you've actually, I know she sent out some pre-reviews and had some people review her book. So if you've done that and you're on the call this morning, would love to hear your take on the book and how you met Hadassa and how we're all tied together.
Well, I'll jump in.
Yes, thank you, Ivan. Thank you.
I've known Hadassa for a long time, as well as her family. I sort of knew her family independently of her. Didn't realize there was a connection there. Her father, her mother, and Hadassa to me was this fanatical Christian person who I didn't really have a lot of relationship with because I was in a different place. But eventually, I don't recall how she and I started talking together on the phone. She's on the West Coast. I've been in Puerto Rico and New York. Today I'm in Florida visiting my mother. It's her 91st birthday this week. We just started talking and we found a real affinity, like we're on a similar path. And it's been very gratifying to be on the learning end for me, and she says learning end for her from our conversations. And we've learned so much. I've had some incredible aha moments, to use the cliche, over time, and I'm just grateful for my friendship with her. I think of you all the time, Hadassa, just as I encounter things that I come across, as I read things. I'm like, oh, that's Hadassa. So she and I have this long distance friendship, even though we attended church together at one time, and our children, were in the same Sunday school type group. So Hadassa has some keen insights, and I'm looking forward to reading the book. And the insights that you present have been impactful for me in a very deep way. I'm particularly challenged and gratified by the discussions that she and I have had regarding the woman. The woman, particularly, not only in the Christian world, but just in general. Women tend to be diminished. Let's just say diminished. And her experience growing up and my experience raising 4 baby women was just incredibly different and a real contrast. And so what I have taken for granted, I have come to appreciate in a deeper manner because of conversations I've had with you. And I take it upon myself to disseminate some of those ideas because I'm a man. I don't know the world of a woman, but with some of those insights, I feel like I have gained a view that is important to share, particularly as a man. I don't know if I'm saying too much, and I don't know if you talk about any of these things in your book, but maybe this is your next book. Anyway, I appreciate you. I love you, and I look forward to reading the book.
Take notes, Hadassa.
Thank you. Wow, that was amazing. Yes. This is going to be a tough act to follow.
Oh.
I don't know who wants to read that.
So Ivana and I started communicating again on Facebook back in 2004, maybe after that. But it wasn't until I was in Colorado and I noticed that you were in Colorado, in Boulder, attending the school up there, and you're muted, by the way. And I noticed that some of the things that you were sharing resonated with the path that I had started going on. And it just took off from there. So it's been, we've known each other for over 30 years, Ivan. Yeah. When we looked really good.
You guys still look good. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. You look amazing.
Thank you. Thanks, Zoom.
Yep. Hadassa, you still look amazing.
Oh,
And
Sonia.
I'm going to jump in, and
Yes,
I've known
please.
you probably, I think, at least 32 years. And I
Yeah.
cannot believe the time that has passed since we've known each other. And I don't even recall how it kind of came to be. I just know that we were in college, and I think we were cleaning during the summer or something. We came over to your apartment, a bunch of us girls. That was the first time I got drunk, and I felt horrible the next day. But I just remember.
Wait, Sonia, we need to mention that it was a very, very
conservative Christian college
school, and drinking was not allowed.
Yeah, or dancing, and we would go out to the dancing and stuff. But I have known you for, I don't even know, it seems like an eternity, and we have conversations here and there, and it's like we both understand that it doesn't matter how much time has passed. It's like I just spoke to you yesterday.
Yes.
And I just remember, we have a similar kind of path going through this religious, exit almost into more spiritual, and, just some of the same abuses that we experienced because of those experiences. And I remember just talking to you multiple times, and I would tell you, I'm like, you need to really share what you're saying with the world. You have a gift, a way of speaking and writing that is beautiful. And finally you did it. And I'm so proud of you. I think, whether this is your, big, entrance to the stage, or the next book is, the fact that you're doing it amidst all of this, stuff with losing your job. And I know how that is. And I told you about my other friend, Stephanie. We have all experienced the same things in this journey, almost, being rejected at a certain age. We're experiencing ageism, and how you have to, I love what you said earlier. You said, I have died 1,000 times and have risen again. Basically, you have to, it's not everybody can do that. And I think that you sharing those things is going to help people, maybe that they don't have that resilience and that tenacity to be able to keep plowing through and keep going, despite what circumstances have even, crippled you in life, hurt you, abused you. Those things I am grateful for at this time in my life and throughout my life, because I think, more resilient and stronger than most people, that they can't even handle a little thing. And I think that we need to understand that as humans, the more turbulence and trials that we face and experience, it's actually good for us. It's making us a better person, a stronger person. A lot of people will not want to have any conflict in life, and they try to avoid that. And I'm just like, bring it on. So I hope to, see more and more of your stuff. And I love what you put out on YouTube. Everything is beautifully presented and professional. And I'm so very proud of you. I'm so glad that you are doing this. And I wish you every success. I hope you make a heap of money and that everyone takes notice of your beautiful gift. So
thank you, Sonia. Those are just beautiful words. Thank you so much. Thank you. And one thing that every human being has the same level of resiliency. Every single one of us is born with that. It's a matter of realizing that you do. Some people are blinded to the fact that they have that resiliency. And I say that because there are people that are born in horrible situations and they make it. There are people that are born with all sorts of physical ailments and they thrive and they still bring a gift to the world. They could either be blind or deaf or be missing limbs. And every single human being has this incredible spark inside of them. Every single one of them. And it is society or the way that things are framed that keep us from seeing that. And we live our lives according to what everyone else has said that your life is supposed to be. And we never ask ourselves, why is it that I'm not able to? Why is that not good for me? Or why is it that I'm not capable of reaching that summit or be able to, let's say, make tons of money or have an abundance of friendships or an abundance of health? You know, we limit ourselves all the time. And even though life, like I said, falls apart, how do you manage that? How do you keep this working? Because the greatest and the most valuable thing anyone possesses is the imagination, your mind. That's what's going to keep you going. If you have to pretend everything's going to work for me, start pretending, start believing it. And it does end up working out for you and for me. And Ivan, everything is always working out, correct?
That's one of the things you always say, Hadassa. And you tell me everything is working out for me. And you say that to yourself when even you don't believe it. And you have to continue to say that everything is working out for me. Yes. That's one of your catchphrases that you would always say to me in our conversations.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much.
I'll go next. So Hadassa and I actually never met in person. It's been a virtual relationship, which is kind of funny. Think about it, right? When my kids were younger, it'd be like, be careful, don't talk to strangers, and then here we are, now. But Hadassa, I actually I was looking at LinkedIn. We actually connected on LinkedIn on November 3rd, 2021.
Oh my God.
It's like 2 years. Yeah. And one of the things that at first sort of impression about Hadassa was she was working at the time for Seagate, and a long time ago, I worked for a company that had been acquired by Seagate. So there was kind of that, initial connection. But we started talking or messaging through LinkedIn and understanding and learning more about her professional career journey and so forth. And you actually had shared with me that you were working with Adriana, and of course Adriana and I are also connected on LinkedIn, so it's kind of like I put the two together. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. But one of the things that I admire about you, Hadassa, is, and it goes back to this, what you were talking about, resiliency, because you've shared with me some of some of your writings, some of your struggles, personal life and your career and so forth. And in spite of that, like, you just keep going. And I've seen, these phrases, whatever, images on social media about someone like stomping you on the ground, but they didn't realize that you're actually a seed, that they were planting you. And that's what I think of you, with all the challenges that you've gone through in your life. And the other thing too is that in spite, again, of all these challenges, you still have a smile on your face, because it's hard. I mean, I know a lot of people that are going through challenges, and rightfully so. They're angry, they're resentful, they're hurting on the inside. And not to say, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you probably are hurting on the inside, but somehow you still manage to put a smile to your face, and come across very warm, very engaging, very comforting, to others. So, yeah.
Oscar, that's absolutely beautiful. I want everyone to know that for a very long time, I walked around very angry and very bitter and with a lot of resentment, with a lot of unforgiveness. And there's still little traces of that, that I'm still working through. However, it hasn't been until the last few years that everything I had been feeding my mind and my heart and my spirit became real. And you're fortunate to have met me at the latter part because yes, I gave what I carried to those around me. And if I was carrying all of that yucky stuff, that's really what I was spreading around to everybody, the yucky stuff. But I'm a testament that people can change. You just have to be patient with yourself and give yourself some grace sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. Those were beautiful words. So Kimberly is having audio issues and she's not able to say how we met. But if
I'll go ahead and read it, Hadassa, real quick.
Thank you, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Kimberly says, I met Hadassa while working at the Air Force Academy in 2010. We became friends and we have been friends ever since. We will remain friends for a long time to come. She has always been so insightful and I have learned so much from her. When I went through an interesting relationship, the passing of my only brother and the passing of my mother 2 years later, she had been very encouraging and supportive. She helped me understand that I am enough and that I am an amazing woman and I have accomplished a lot for myself. So I'm thankful to have her as a friend. And when I need an ear of insight, I call her still. Oh, makes me cry. It's so beautiful.
Kimberly, you did it.
Yeah.
You're the one who did it. It's like I really, really tried to hold the tears back, but I love you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, that's sweet. All right, Edie, you're next.
Oh, okay. I'm at the end of the transformation. I am so privileged to have met you, and I met you again with the same in the same trajectory that you started. I was part of Denise Soler Cox, and then we heard about Adriana, wonderful Adriana, and I decided to write a little story, and I had just like a few weeks to write a story and be part of that beautiful volume number 2. And I wrote my story. After retiring from nursing, I was a nurse for 35 years, and I've been wanting to write a memoir. And in the midst, I got this opportunity to write a little piece of something in my life. And when it came out, I got such wonderful reviews from you, Hadassa. I was like, what's so great about this? This is just an unusual story. And we just connected. It was almost like supernatural. We kept talking to each other in Facebook, and we maintained that little friendship. And then we did the next story. And then I find out that you had edited Adriana's beautiful poetry book, and I loved it. And it was so touching. It was so moving. And then I've been watching your beautiful YouTubes. I don't know if you guys have seen her work, her prose and poetry, and they're just so inspiring. And recently you asked me if I would help you with the book. So I was privileged enough to see the reading, the writing. I don't know how many of you have seen any part of this book, but it speaks to everything that you have mentioned about her. I can see that evolution from the Hadassa that was and to the Hadassa that is, and I'm privileged to know you now. I'm so happy for you.
Edie, thank you. Thank you so much. It was when I met you, virtually, of course, you being from New York, the Bronx, that's where my father's from, and my father's side of the family. So there was this connection almost like family. And reading your material, and the more we've conversated throughout this past year, and now me editing your book and reading about your life story, it's such a privilege when you read something that someone has written. It's like when you put your thoughts and your heart on paper, you have to understand you're putting a piece of you out there. It's a piece of you. And you are extremely vulnerable when you do that. And you put it out there, whether it's video, whether it's written. And after you put it out there, all these thoughts hit you. It's like, oh my God, what are people going to think? What are people going to say? Am I going to be viewed this way? You totally feel so exposed. I mean, and so fragile at that moment, but it's still beautiful. I don't know how to explain it, but it is a privilege to read someone else's art because it's looking inside their soul. And that's a very special thing when you connect with somebody that way.
And that's how I feel about your book. And you guys are in for a treat if you haven't read it or you haven't had a chance to. To me, I told you before, Hadassa, it reads to me like you're sending a love letter to the world, to the people. A message of hope and resilience.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I love it. So I know that this is not going to be a conflict of interest. I know that I'm the publisher, but I definitely want to say a few words about how I met Hadassa and how magical it's been. I'm really fortunate that I get to choose the writers I work with. And I don't think it was a coincidence that I met both Iris and Hadassa through the Denise Soler project, which was several years ago. And then through that through that introduction, I suppose, they came into the Latinas 100 project, which is an anthology series that we also run. And having been able to read Hadassa's story and getting to know her in the process, it was really interesting because a lot of time, because I meet hundreds of authors and seldom do I go to the cities and meet them or whatnot, but somehow the universe conspired to get Hadassa and me to really just connect at a more personal level. And it turns out that we have a very similar story, growing up in an extremely religious environment. And we had the similarities were appalling. I was like, this is not a coincidence. So one thing led to another. And so here we are. She's already published in the last two anthologies for Latinas 100. And then now you have your own book, and have been privileged enough to help you in the process. But I don't think it's a coincidence that it just so happened that we have very similar upbringing, very similar ideas about how the world works, and very similar values about how we're here on earth to help each other, to help other human beings, and to be loving and kind. And at the end of the day, no matter how you slice it, it's about loving each other. Absolutely. And I hold no bars when it comes to expressing that, because at the end of the day, that is what it's about. So the process, I just want to let you know, Hadassa, for me, it's been an incredibly magical, we've had so many coincidences where even through when I was going through some personal things, and then, me being able to just call you and share things, and all of a sudden we were just marveled by some things that were evolving and happening as we're publishing this book. And I'm like, mind blowing, this is crazy, so it's been just an amazing journey. And another thing is that it's been really fun because Hadassa, she's a really good dancer. So a good salsa dancer.
Oh, wait a minute.
She did fly to Las Vegas. I got to actually meet her in person, and which was always really neat for me because I have so many writers that I work with. And so we did a Thursday night. We have a salsa place here in Las Vegas, and girl, she starts dancing on the floor, and I was like, "Who is this woman?" I mean, she was so good, like total professional salsa dancer.
Oh my gosh, no.
So,
no.
It was a
Not
lot
just
of
salsa, and Yvette can attest to my dancing, right, Yvette?
Yes. So maybe that's a good segue for me
Yes.
to
Yes,
to,
please.
to explain the story how I met Hadassa. So back in Colorado Springs, I think this was 2014, 13, I believe. But anyways,
I think it
so
was 2014.
yeah, so I guess, I decided I'm single and not having much luck, so I signed up for a speed dating event. Showed up there and turned out it was a very disappointing event because the other half that we were there to meet was few and far between. And the women that showed up, Hadassa being one of them, she had a very interesting name tag on, and that sparked a conversation. And I just thought, who is this person that would present themselves in such a unusual way? But I found
Yeah.
it, very humorous. And
It was not Hadassa.
yeah, it was Cleopatra, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was.
So it was an interesting night, but we ended up just kind of communicating and just kind of sharing our stories. And we ended up doing karaoke and stayed there at that place for a couple hours afterwards and became fast friends, and joined our other friend Diane that also lives in the Springs. So a lot of our parallels are both me having worked at the Air Force Academy, she prior working at the Air Force Academy. But her story really is, something that I always took to heart because it was so moving and emotional. I feel in those moments of your life, yeah, you almost have to nurture and be a mother, be a parent to yourself, to try to heal the wounds of your childhood, of your traumas. And these are the things that, she's willing to be open and share with the world, which is very brave. And, just that shows just kind of the humanity that she has, that she wants to share that and, let other people know that it is possible that you can overcome these things from your past. You don't have to be stuck, and that you can move forward and be a positive person and have positive influence on other people. And that's what I admire very much about her, is she's a great friend, come through it with grace and dignity and strength. And those are the things that I really admire. So
Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
Yvette.
Thank you, Hadassa.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
That's beautiful. What beautiful words, for sure. Well, I think everybody has had an opportunity to share these beautiful memories and beautiful stories that we have with this wonderful, beautiful woman who just wrote this incredible book. And my hope is that when you get an opportunity, that you pick up the book, that you read it, and that you review it on her Amazon page, and that that we continue this community that we have with her, because anybody who knows Hadassa knows it. She's never on a surface level friend. She's like a really deep, good, close friend. And when she's your friend for life. And as you can see, I mean, most of everybody on the call has been her friend for plus 20 years, right? So I want to thank everybody for coming out, and I want to reach out, just one last call to see if anyone wants to say some final words, and we can go ahead and close out the book launch.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Hadassa, for inviting me multiple times, because I do need multiple reminders. I appreciate that. And Adriana, also to you, thank you for always finding just amazing people like Hadassa and doing what you're doing too, because we need you to get our voices out there, our stories told. So thank you as well.
Thank you,
Oscar. Your content has helped me to be more authentic and embrace every little wrinkle. And I don't mean just the wrinkles. I mean every wrinkle in my life, past, present, and future. You've been an inspiration to me. And I appreciate that very much. And I admire you as well.
Thank
And I
you.
admire every single person who's here today. I really do, because you've all been part of my life. And it's like we're mirroring each other. You may get on my nerves. You may be the most amazing person to me. I love you all and I appreciate you all. And it's part of this trajectory that I'm on. You've been part of my life. You've been part of my journey. And I look forward to continuing on. And yeah, this isn't just this, there's more to come. There's a lot more to come.
For sure. Anybody else? Final call?
Congratulations, Hadassa. I just wanted to say how proud I am of you, that you met this accomplishment, that you did it. I know this was words, that you spoke many years ago, and it's finally a reality. So best wishes on your continued beginning of your great success.
Thank you so much. We evolve every single day. Every single day we evolve, right? And no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. And we all carry beauty and we all carry ugly things too. And there's a contrast to everything. Everything. And I'm very grateful for this. I'm grateful that my heart is full of gratitude that I wrote a book and it's been published and it's going to help a lot of people. But that book that I wrote, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I find myself reading the manuscript to remind me to stay focused, to remind me that I'm worthy, that I'm loved. And the YouTube videos that I put out there are days that I have to go back and listen to them. And even though it's my voice and I produce that content, it's something I need to hear, because I don't know how that content was. It didn't come from, it's almost like it came through me. It came through me. And this message is a message that comes through every single human being on this planet. We all have access to that. And it is about love, and it is about embracing everything and being present and accepting things the way they are for that moment, but also believing that you can move forward.
Beautiful, beautifully said. I love it. I love every piece. Edie's?
I just want to read what Kimberly wrote since she couldn't.
Oh, thank you.
She just said, "Love you, Hadassa. Keep being the amazing woman that you are."
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you so much.
A lot of love in the air. I love it. I love it. So I love these intimate book launches, because when we launch an author, we do ask the closest, personal, most important people in the author's life. And, the author will go out and reach out to the people that she believes in and that she believes will help her celebrate this moment. So I want to thank everybody who came out today, because you were selected, handpicked by Hadassa, and for obvious reasons, and for being a true friend, and for showing up, for just showing up. And I'll leave the final words to Hadassa, and we'll wrap it up. And thank you so much for showing up today.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up. And I also want to thank those that were not able to show up, because I know that they hold me very close in their heart, just like I hold them in my heart.
Love you, my friend. Yeah.